In the year 2026, archaeologists working in the Nevada desert discovered a portal to an ancient city on Mars. They call this portal the Ark. 20 years later, we're still struggling to understand why it was built and what happened to the civilization that built it.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Hello, this is Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good.
This is episode something. I don't have my script in front of me.
213.
224.
Oh, that was close.
Sorry, I was actually getting kind of consumed in the music. I was just really enjoying that Danny Elfman there. Episode 224, and tonight we're talking about Doom. I wish I had like a voice modulator in my mixer where I can
kind of fun to have.
Yeah, like drop my voice down and Doom.
Or chipmunked it up.
Oh yeah, the other way too. Yeah.
Voice modulator.
Yeah. That would be funny. I mean, I was like,
That's Marvin the Martian.
That's your what?
Marvin the Martian.
Marvin the Martian. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty.
Voice modulator.
That's actually pretty applicable to today's episode. I am Shawn Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew BFG Jemison.
Bigfoot. Oh, sorry, I can't say that.
I think you caught yourself in time. I think we're okay.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Sam, I hate nanowalls vector.
Nanowalls. It's the next step in building evolution.
Okay, yeah. Just as long as you're not using like that technology to build structural,
Yeah.
you know. Oops, the batteries died. Oh no.
Caught in one of those.
I know, right? Walk through it and then wham.
I know, that'd be just terrifying. Like that, I get why that guy was like, yeah, I don't do nano walls. Like I get it, especially when they trapped that one thing in it. It's like frozen in carbonite kind of deal. So yeah, I get you there. It was almost like a Doctor Strange, like when they cut the portal off and it like severs your hand.
Yeah. But my question is, why did it chop off the one monster, but then the one monster, it chopped off an arm, right? No,
well, that was just a door.
That's right. Never mind.
Sealed door.
I'm getting my space age doors mixed up.
No, sure. Oh, I get that. All right. So this is Doom, 2005's Doom. I guess I'm just going to jump right into it there. Or I guess, Andrew, are you ready for me to throw it to you already or no?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, Donald Trump's Space Force is sent to investigate a strange event at a research facility on Mars, but they find themselves at the mercy of a genetically enhanced killing machine. Whoa. Is it a machine?
Killing machines.
It's basically dead people, right?
Yeah, it's just reanimated dead people. It's kind of zombies.
But I don't remember the game being like that.
No, the game was about they were demons. They were literally
demons.
Demons.
I remember an eyeball demon, right?
Yeah, they were demons from hell. So
I was waiting to see some demons, but it just never felt that way.
Yeah, they were just the zombies. The kind of got all morphified and whatever. They needed like a crossover between Event Horizon and this movie to get like actual demons.
Yes. Yeah. I'd watch that.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Actually, I'd be for that. So Doom, the movie based on the video game, one of the very first-person shooters for Windows 95.
Oh gosh,
and Wolfenstein.
Yeah, and
I was totally into this video game. I totally played tons of Doom, and I totally got seasick doing a lot of it.
Nice. Yeah,
So,
I read in the trivia a lot of people had issues with this game growing up, which is weird.
something just exploded outside. I hope that's not a transformer.
Pew. Bye, Sam.
I'm still here. Apparently, the power is on and the internet is on.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. Once again, we're recording through some weather issues, so hopefully, all three of us will stay. So. Yeah. So I didn't see this in theaters. Did either one of you guys see this in the theater?
No.
I did watch it probably at the Blockbuster. I mean, those were still around in 05.
Yeah.
Probably rented it. Unfairness, I probably rented it with Corny. This seems something like he and I would have watched together. And I remember at the time thinking it was kind of... Actually, that's not true. Now that I remember. Okay. I thought I had seen this all the way through. And then when I watched it this time, realized I'd seen actually very little of it. I had only seen maybe the first 10, 15 minutes of it and then didn't see any more of it. So that's kind of how unrememberable the movie is.
It's so boring.
Is that
not boring per se. It's just you've seen it all, and you've seen it better elsewhere.
It's very predictable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about tropes. The army people in this
Marines.
Army men, I guess they're the Marines.
Yeah,
sorry,
we don't want to get we don't want any listeners who are Marines to get pissed.
I do not want any of those, any armed forces angry at me.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you do, but my God, tropey.
Yeah.
I mean, from crazy guy to rookie to to religious guy to veteran hardcore.
Veteran soldier.
Yep.
Well,
You've got your mentally unstable guy. Well, I already told that guy.
he kind of covers all the tropes of just kind of weird, crazy a-hole.
Yeah, but usually those are the cool guys, like the guys you kind of like. The quippy, crazy people are the fun guys to watch. But this guy was just.
He was the Bill Paxton from Aliens in this movie. It's game over, man. The only difference is that this guy was just a douche and creepy and I got a couple of clips from him and he grosses me out. Like I literally look at him and think, is that slick back grease in his hair, or is he just sweaty, or is he just like, I'm surprised those women didn't run away from him. As they probably should have. So
yeah.
Anyway,
I did not appreciate the character, and I think that was a wasted chance to have somebody kind of fun to tag around with. To me, it felt like there wasn't a whole lot of fun.
I think it needed Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, maybe that's the crazy guy.
Yeah, I mean, we already had him do Space Madness or Space Dementia or whatever the heck they called it in Armageddon.
This movie needed him as Crazy Eyes from
Con Air.
Con Air.
Aircon. I like Aircon. No, I don't think you needed any more actual famous people in this movie. I think this one was, because at the time The Rock was, he was doing his own movies. He was doing, solo stand-up. He had done Walking Tall with Johnny Knoxville. He had already done The Rundown at this point.
This was after The Rundown?
Am I wrong?
I could have swore he looked younger in this than he did in The Rundown.
He does look younger. He looks really young.
By the way, I noticed in this one too, his everybody knows The Rock is this giant specimen, right?
Yeah.
To me, he looked a little smaller in this.
Yeah, The Rundown was 03.
And I also noticed his shoulders. He's got stretch marks on his skin in this movie.
From his muscles.
What I'm going to say, where he had giant muscles and then wasn't as bulky.
Yeah.
That's because he hasn't rubbed in the cocoa butter.
Walking Tall was 04. The Rundown was 03. And then he does Doom in 05. Yep. And then he did a couple of kid movies, Gridiron. Well, he did Gridiron Gang, and then he did The Game Plan and
Baywatch. So
eventually he would do Baywatch. He did The Tooth Fairy.
Oh dear Lord!
And then he was in The Other Guys for like 5 minutes.
Oh, he did that Race to Witch Mountain.
Yeah, that was one of the very first ones he did. Yeah, The Race to Witch Mountain, one of his very first kind of movie. I mean, he did The Mummy Returns as the Scorpion King, and then he did The Scorpion King.
I like the mullet in that one.
The CGI Rock Scorpion guy. It's
so
pretty bad in that one.
It's so bad. So anyway, so basically, The Rock is awesome. It's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, we all. I mean,
he's great.
Even in this, he was. You knew he was. He was going to not be the anti-hero per se, but you could see it coming.
Well, the weird thing is, what's weird about his character is this: he starts off as just this straight-laced, by the books sergeant. Gets his orders. We're going to follow the orders. And for the first hour of the movie, he's just Sarge. And then there's a moment when he starts to become a little aggressive. I don't know if it's the right word, but like a little crazy. And then, I mean, he shoots the kid in the face. Shot him in the face. Really, I shot him in the neck. But that was pre-infection. Like, that was just his character just turning full homicidal kind of thing.
I thought maybe that he was in the process of being turned.
He didn't, because he shoots the kid in the neck, and then the wheelchair guy says, "I'm not getting killed by you crazy people, blah, blah, blah." And then the monster shows up, and then that's when they have a fight, and then that's when the Rock gets sucked into the wall, whatever.
Yeah.
So he hadn't been turned yet. He's just kind of gone crazy. And Carl Urban has to be the voice of reason in this movie. And he is, he's first billed. This is a Carl Urban movie, if you want to honestly look at it that way. Which is funny. Carl Urban's the same age as The Rock. They're the exact same age.
Yeah, like on the DVD cover, it has The Rock in the middle. And then it says Carl Urban and The Rock.
I mean, when you click on Carl Urban's IMDb page, known for Star Trek, okay, that makes sense. And then the Two Towers and Lord of the Rings, makes sense. And then Doom. It's like, wait a minute.
What about Dredd?
Dredd? He would be way better as Dredd, or heck, even in Thor Ragnarok. But whatever. And of course, the first time I really recognized him, the first time I noticed him was in The Bourne Supremacy. He's one of the bad guys. And then I saw Chronicles of Riddick, which is the same year, 2004, and he's in that. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute.
That's one of my guilty likes.
I like Chronicles of Riddick, too. It's kind of fun and weird. And then I was like, oh, wait, that's the same guy from the Return of the King and the Two Towers. And then just a few years later, he would do Star Trek in 2009. So I like me some Carl Urban, especially in Dredd. He needs to do more Dredd, way more Dredd. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
And I thought it was really.
I am the law.
It's not big of him, but to keep the mask on.
Oh, for Dredd, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, I mean, we did the Sylvester Stallone one for the show. That was the one that Steve Everett subbed in on. It was just him and Corny and myself. And I made the point of, like, Stallone's ego would not allow him to not wear the mask the whole movie. He almost doesn't wear the mask. Like, I think he wears the mask for the first 5 minutes, and then it's always off.
Yeah.
Whereas Carl Urban always wears the mask because the comic book character always wears the mask. Yeah. And that's
to me, that gives him some cred.
It does. To me, too. So, anyway. And that's a far superior movie to this movie. It also stars your Rosamund Pike.
You want to talk about that instead of this one.
Yeah, I know. It's got your Rosamund Pike, who I find extremely attractive.
She's got a weird mouth.
Well, so do you. She was in she's in Bond. She was in Jack Reacher. She's in Gone Girl. She's a bunch of other stuff. that I just don't know of. Johnny English Reborn. That's kind of funny. But yeah, she is. Almost no one in this movie, by the way, is American, which is funny. I think The Rock is like the only American dude. Everyone else is like Carl Urban's like from New Zealand or something. I can't remember.
Is he really?
I think so. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, he's from New Zealand. Yeah, and Rosamund, I think she's British or something also.
Did not know that.
Yeah, she's from London. So anyway, but so you basically got those three people, and then a bunch of other people that you don't really know about. The kid that played, or I say kid, the guy that played Pinky, I know him from Band of Brothers.
Yep.
Which is weird because on his known for page, it's not Band of Brothers. I didn't even know he was in Kick-Ass. I only know him basically from Band of Brothers, so it's kind of funny. And then there's a bunch of, like you said, a bunch of other people that I just like. Portman, Richard Blake. Oh, Break. His name is Break. Like
he's going to break you?
Oh my gosh. He's in Kingsman. He's the quote unquote the interrogator. He's the guy that gives them all roofies and then puts them on the train track.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
I didn't put that together at all until I saw it on his IMDb credit. And he plays really weird and creepy in that too. So good job for making a career out of being weird and creepy. Oh my
Heck,
gosh.
if it works in podcasts.
He's in a movie called. He's in a Rob Zombie movie called 31. 5 carnival workers are kidnapped and held hostage in an abandoned hell-like compound where they are forced to participate in a violent game. And his character is named, what is it? His name is Doomhead.
Doomhead?
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny. He's still making movies. He's in something called Squadron 42. It's a video game. He plays Wounded Miner. He's in something called 3 from Hell. Winslow Foxworth Coltrane. He's got 3 names. Look at him.
He has that leathered look to him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of like a what's his name? Can't even think right now. Western. John Wayne.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No. I don't know. He could be a Western star pretty easily, I think.
He kind of reminds me of, I don't know his name, but you remember back to Die Hard? You had the 2 Agent Johnsons.
Yeah.
And that one Johnson that, like, because of his face makes him look like he's like 48 or 50. Because they makes the joke in the movies, because he's the 2 Agent Johnsons, right? There's that guy and then the black guy. And they keep making the joke. He calls on the phone. And he's like, "This is Agent Johnson." No, the other one. I always wanted to know what the guy on the phone said. The black one? No, the other one. You know, like, what did they say? Anyway, so then they're flying in the helicopter. He's like, "Just like Saigon." And he goes, "I was in junior high, dickhead." And then the trivia is like, they're the same age, those 2 guys. It's just the one guy looks so much younger than the other guy, they can make the joke. Anyway. Our weird guy was also in Thor: The Dark World as just a lieutenant for the bad guy. So
he was in Batman Begins.
Batman. Joe Chill. Oh my gosh, that's Joe Chill. He's the guy that freaking killed his parents.
Yeah.
He's the reason why we have Batman.
That's right.
Wow. Look at this guy. He's just affecting all kinds of stuff. Well, good for him. Okay. Transport of the Seas. I'm still blown away that he's in the Kingsman. I'd love to do that movie for the podcast if it ever streams, because I just freaking love that movie so much. It would just be an hour and a half podcast of me saying, "Gosh, I love this movie. It's great."
They're making a 3rd.
Really?
Yeah, saw that the other day.
I didn't really like the second one.
Hopefully it's better than the second one.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw the second one.
It's not great. It's okay, but it
was a letdown.
There's a lot of the same stuff that you liked from the first one, but like, I think Matthew Vaughn went too far with the "I'm willing to kill people" thing. I think he went too far, in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
Country Roads, West Virginia is all I gotta say.
Take me home.
That will make sense when you watch the movie.
Okay.
Sorry, I clicked on. This is so weird. I've never seen this. So Ben Daniels, the guy who was Goat in this movie,
Yep.
I click on him, and under known for, he only has one movie. He's known for Rogue One. He was General Merrick, whoever that is.
Okay.
But he's done more things than just this movie and the Star Wars movie. But apparently he's only known for the Star Wars movie. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but he's all like one episode of everything you've ever seen.
The one-off.
Yeah. He was in that one episode of the Lost Language of Cranes, whatever that is. Anyway.
It's basically like,
Caca, caca,
Oh, he's in The Crown.
caca, caca. In Tookie. The Exorcist TV show, he was Father Marcus Keene.
Not The Crown. House of Cards. That's
No,
what
he
I'm
was
talking
in The Crown. As an episode. He was in an episode of The Crown. Anthony Armstrong Jones.
I know him from House of Cards, though.
yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Anyway, so enough about those guys. I do want to talk about the director for half a minute.
Why?
Andres. Well, we've seen movies. Well, okay. I've seen movies that I like of his. As a director, he's done 9 movies. His first film was Romeo Must Die, which was the second DVD,
Jet Li thing?
the Jet Li movie, which is the second DVD I ever purchased.
Oh, wow.
Second to Gone in 60 Seconds.
I think we watched that in college.
Yeah, we did, because I was the only guy in college for several years that had a DVD player. And
Yeah.
so I was like, hey, it's either this or Gone in 60 Seconds. And you're like, well, we've already seen that one, so let's watch this Jet Li thing. And I liked it. It's a good movie. Had that musical star who died, Aaliyah.
Aaliyah?
Yeah.
Or
I think it was Aaliyah.
something like that.
Yeah, she died. Then he did Exit Wounds, which is also it's got not Run DMC.
Oh, yeah, that one's good.
What's his name? It's also a rapper with more Jet Li kick flick kind of stuff. And then he does Cradle
Lots
to
of boobs in that movie.
and then Cradle to the Grave. Again, the exact same movie. DMX is his name. Jet Li and DMX. I have it on DVD.
That's the first rated R movie that had nudity that my parents let me watch without like shielding me.
Huh. So then he does.
I was in high school at this point.
So then he does Doom, and then he does Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, which is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then he took a decade off and did something called Alter Rock last year, which I don't know what that is.
Wow,
A
he really
thriller.
took a decade off.
A thriller inspired by the Boston Marathon bombing. It's got a bunch of people. James Remar. A bunch of people I've never heard of. They'll have pictures on IMDb, but I've never heard of them.
I wonder why he didn't work for over 10 years.
Well, from what I can see here, is that he's actually known for mainly as a cinematographer. So he did a bunch of, he was a cinematographer for Twins and Falling Down, that movie where the guy goes crazy and shoots everybody. Species, Speed.
Species is more like, where can I show the best boob shot?
Dante's Peak, The Devil's Advocate, U.S. Marshals.
Peak is fun.
Yeah, Lethal Weapon 4, 13 Days, and Trespass. And then, so basically he still took about 6 years off, though. He just did The Gray Lady last year, which is a thing. So, anyway, my point is that he's got some skills as a director. I mean, those Romeo movies, those kick flicks, they're not great movies. They're dumb action movies with Jet Li just being awesome Jet Li. Action kind of a thing happening. So my point is that so why does this movie, because I haven't really asked the question, but I feel fairly confident saying that I don't really think any of us really liked this movie, right? I mean,
I did not, no. Not one bit.
Andrew, did it apply to your rule that if it kept your attention, it was a decent? No.
No. Yeah, I mean it. No.
Okay. So like the question is that why, right? You know, I mean, is it because? I mean, is it just another failed attempt to make a movie about a video game? I mean, why do these movies not translate well?
I don't know. I don't know if at that point, I feel like if this movie were made today, I think it would be a much better sell than it was in 2005.
You think so?
I do, because more and more people are playing, especially online mobile games on their phone, first-person shooter with Fortnite and with PUBG and all these other.
Do you think Fortnite's already being turned into a movie?
Is it?
I'm asking.
I'm sure they're working.
Check it out.
There was a Fortnite movie there's one in 2017. What? Oh, it's the game.
That would have been last year.
It's just the game. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that movie's been made 1,000 times. There's a bunch of movies where you put a bunch of people on an island and then they have to they all slowly die one at a time until there's just one or two people left. I mean,
Yeah.
the new King Kong movie is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So anyway.
Yeah.
They just didn't call it Fortnite. So I see what you're saying. You're saying is you can market this movie because more people in 2018 are playing first-person shooter games than we were back in 2005. Maybe not. Maybe the numbers are the
people
same.
can understand them, I think. But the problem is the story it's based on. I think it had promise. You know, I mean, for God's sake, one of our, I don't want to call it our favorite horror movies, but Event Horizon goes, basically, you know, the ship went to hell and back, right? And we buy that. Why couldn't this basically be the same thing on Mars?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, why? I guess the thing is that the movie asks a question at the beginning of the movie, and it doesn't really tell you why. I guess we're supposed to figure out. The question is, why did they build the Ark to Earth? And I guess we're supposed to assume because they're so advanced on Mars that they created the ability to make themselves better, right? They basically, it's like the Reavers from Serenity, right? The difference is that one, you know, part of the population got really strong and smart and, you know, basically Captain America. And then the other part of the population turned into murderous zombie thingies. And so I guess the idea is that the people of Mars, the ones that couldn't escape to Earth to create new life on Earth, but for whatever reason, if that's what we're assuming, then we came to Earth and had to completely start over. They didn't take any technology with them. You know what I'm saying? Did they start over completely? It just seems strange if the movie is making the assumption that, not the assumption, if they're making the hypothesis that life came from Mars and they created a little little Stargate to shoot us over to Earth. Okay, fine.
It's I don't know.
And so if that's what the movie's telling me, then the fossils that they dug up of the what they assume is a mother protecting its infant, and he says you don't protect an infant from time, you protect it from something else, which was a good line that Carl Urban said. So if the beastie came and did that, then why did she die in that pose?
Yeah,
wouldn't she be torn to pieces or something?
Unless they were like Pompeii and just frozen in time. Those bones would not have been that. You would have to physically set them up that way.
Yeah. I know I'm starting to nitpick, but this movie is rife with nitpicky stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
And
why not have a demon that freezes people in place somehow, or throws up on them and they freeze in spot? You could work the story around that if you go to some of these crazy places, but don't present us with these questions and visuals without any kind of payoff.
Now I'm astronomy buff is not the right word. I took astronomy in college. I've made my argument several times about the whole Star Wars using the phrase parsec incorrectly, and so the movie, I don't know why it bothered me, but I rolled my eyes out loud in this movie when they go through the arc and one of the guys says, "Where the F are we?" And the other guy says, about 1,000 light years away from breakfast. I'm like, no, you're like 1,000 miles from Earth.
Yeah, but I
more
can
than
see that. He's
I know. It's just for some reason that line bothered me. I don't know why. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, that one caught me too. I mean, even if it's a figure of speech, you're not.
If he would have said we're a million miles away from breakfast, that's actually pretty accurate. They're about 100 and something million miles away. Okay, fine, but I don't know. It just bothered me. It's like they're not light years away. You know how far a light year is? It's really far. Like, really far. So anyway, I know I'm nitpicking a dumb movie, but that and there was a bunch of other stuff in the movie that it introduced. There was no payoff.
Oh shoot! You know what I was going to do? I was going to pay tribute to this movie by doing this podcast
In the
dark.
Oh, very cool.
Because it was a very dark movie.
It was dark. Like
I was having a hard time seeing where things were.
Yeah, not just tonally, but like there was a lot of dark. Well, again, you have to think 2005 CGI wasn't great. You know, there's some movies of the time where you can go, oh, that's not bad. This isn't good though. This CGI, and so you hide bad CGI with
dark
lack of light.
Well, and if you're going to be a horror movie, of course, make it dark.
Yeah.
But did it bother anybody else how unprofessional these Marines were?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Right? I mean, you've got your rookie, of course, this is his first, but he's been trained. They're not going to send him without being trained. And especially Crazy Guy, the way he was acting, and how quickly he became insubordinate.
Well, the other thing that kind of annoys me about these Marines, right? So they're a military entity, right? Just a handful of guys. So in the future, we send small teams instead of large teams. We send a group of 8 or 9 or whatever.
Yeah, we do that. It's still Team 6.
Well, I mean, even when we went after Osama bin Laden, it was still like 20 guys. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so they send this small team. Like, Crazy Gross Dude, he looks like he's 40. Yeah. Like, is he still in the Marines? Like, if you're at that age, you are either like a master sergeant who is in charge, or you're an officer. You've gone career. There are very few enlisted men. I'm saying it doesn't happen, but there's very few that are that age. He just seemed really old. Mm-hmm. And I'm good with the rest of the guys. Even, of course, the other thing that kind of annoyed me was the preacher, religious dude, Goat, who insinuated in the movie that he had done time. And it's like, wait, I didn't think the Marines allowed ex-convicts. Is that a thing?
No, I just in Trump's America. I'm sorry, that was an inside thought.
So there was that. Some of those things kind of annoyed me. You're not wrong, Sam. The Marines, as Marines, they kind of sucked.
Yeah. Even with you never leave your partner. It's just there were all these tactical things that they were doing, and it's not like these monsters were unstoppable. You put enough lead in them, and they're being stopped. Well, it all depends on what needed to happen in the movie, of course.
Yeah.
There were some times when they were super creatures, and there was other times where they just kind of fell apart.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, usually it was a couple shots and they were good, especially in the first-person shooter moment. It was just a couple shots and they were down. But the other thing that annoyed me was that had no resolution was the kid taking the speed, I guess. He's like, hey, can I have some? And then the crazy guy was like, yeah, here you go. Help take the edge off. And then Carl Urban calls him out on it later, but there was no payoff there. There was no. What was the point? if that would have come back later as having mattered, okay, all right, fine, but it didn't. It was just
Yeah, you would think later it would, he misses, he's high, so he doesn't see the creature, or
makes a mistake because he's high or something. Yeah,
yeah, the mistake kills one of his people, and he feels really bad. And then he has a sort of a redemption. I mean, there's all these little tropes that usually happen
yeah.
with that kind of thing, but don't bring it up if it's not going to be relevant.
Yeah. And then there was other stuff. Other things they just kept introducing. I mean, I don't know if hopping man is the right word. For like all these little plots, like that pills was a hopping man. They introduce it and then it doesn't have. Nothing happens. Just disappears.
Yeah.
The other one was the guy that goes and poops. He records this transmission that he's going to send backup. Like he needs backup, and so I thought that was like, oh, that's what's going to happen. He's going to send this transmission. The Marines on Earth are going to get it. They're going to send another team, and then Carl Urban is going to have to fight a new batch of zombies because they're going to get bitten the moment they come through the arc, and then they're all going to be tactical with weapons, and that's going to make it difficult. But again, there's no
escalation.
Yeah, escalation, but there's no payoff with that either. Nothing happens with that.
Yeah, I kept waiting to see, like, the monsters get to Earth that way, and like taking the story even further.
Well, and they do get to Earth. I mean, but they keep everything contained. But
get to Earth and start invading, and everybody has to go after them.
Yeah,
that's what I saw happening, but it never happened.
Yeah,
and maybe that's it though, Andrew. Maybe there was no real escalation in terms of. I never felt like I don't know. There was stakes in this.
Yeah,
even with the sister and the brother, I never felt like, oh, okay, well, they're in danger. Oh, well.
Which I hated that, by the way. Why make her the sister? Let her be the chick he gets to have at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt bad for Carl Urban. It's like there's this hot chick you're carrying out in your arms. This would be a great moment for her to like start snuggling up against you while I don't know. I kind of felt bad. But I did. So Andrew, I talked to Sam earlier today off show, obviously, and I said, think about this though. This is kind of cool. So Carl Urban is basically Captain America now. I mean, he's super strong, super smart, super fast.
Uh-huh.
He could now go out and be like a legit superhero if he wanted to. He's like he goes back to the Marines, right? He's going to go back to his commanding or his new commanding officer and be like, "Hey, Sarge went crazy and killed the kid. Oh, and by the way, he turned into a murderous zombie, and I had to kill him with a grenade. But I'm now the fastest, strongest human on the planet. So
there's that.
There's that. So give me a shield and let's do some Captain America stuff. I kind of want to see those movies. And then Sam said, "Yeah, and they made that movie. It's called Dread." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right." I would love to think of Dread as a sequel to this, like the zombies.
It was in the future, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was farther in the future. Like the zombies actually do make it to Earth, and that's why they have to like wall up in these giant mega cities. Is because those zombies own the rest of the country. Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah.
And then he just becomes Dread. So I like it. I like this thing. I'm going to start posting on the internet that Dread is just a sequel to Doom.
Kind of makes this movie a little more enjoyable.
A little bit. It kind of does. So anyway, I'm looking at my notes. I actually didn't capture a lot of notes because I kept just getting frustrated and rolling my eyes at the movie that I just didn't write stuff down because I was like, am I going to nitpick? I mean, whatever. It just...
Well, and I got to say, this movie is kind of monotonous. It's a good 15 to 20 minutes longer than it should be.
And it's not even a long movie. It's only an hour 40 minutes.
Yeah, so...
Hour 45.
It felt longer.
Yeah.
And by the way, okay, the doctor, again, her and Carl Urban are literally the only two likable people in the movie, in my opinion. Yeah. Well, I actually kind of liked Destroyer. I like the fact that this big, strong dude that went toe-to-toe for a while with one of the zombie things.
Yes, he did.
And I like that. I just thought that was cool that he almost won the fight and then eventually would lose, and he had to, but there's just something about that character. Like we saw that character in 13th Warrior, like the big strong guy that takes like 11 spears to bring down. I don't know. I always liked that character in movies, just the big strong guy. And
you had what's his name, who dies in every movie, in
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean.
Yeah, and the Fellowship of the Rings, where he takes out Uruk-hai after Uruk-hai after taking 3 arrows, and still is killing people before they finally finish him off with a sword. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I for whatever reason in movies, I love that character. That I do not go gently into that good night. And so
that's a common trope, though.
it is a common trope, but it's not a bad trope.
No, I don't think so either.
It's not a bad trope. But I was wanting that, and then I got that in this movie. So like when he was fighting the thing and he pinned it against the electric fence or whatever, I'm like, yeah, get some, Destroyer. Even though you were kind of a dick earlier hitting fruit with a baseball bat. So, and the guy playing video games gives him a look, and then Destroyer's like, "Come at me," and he's like, okay, it's not worth a fight." It's just, again, they all kind of sucked as Marines. Let's just be honest, they did.
They really did.
And I wonder if people who Marines or any servicemen, if they watch movies like this and they roll their eyes,
Well, I'm sure they do.
Or are they like, yeah, I know a guy like that. Or, I mean, in fantasy it works, but in real life, that would never happen. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, no, I think Code Red would happen on that sleazy guy a long time ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, if we do have any service, Army, Marine, Navy, whatever, people that have served who listen to the show who say, yeah, Portman, I knew that guy in basic and he was awful. It's just send me a tweet or something.
Let us. I'm curious about that because I know they weed people like that out.
Yeah, typically.
So is it? There are personalities, obviously. But I just wonder.
Okay, so I also wrote one of the notes as we're bagging on the Marines in this movie, not the actual Marines. I don't.
Yeah. Please make sure
I don't bag on those
Space Marines.
The Space Force. I wrote either a Marine didn't check to make sure that his flashlight batteries were new, or his gear sucks.
Yeah.
Like his flashlight goes out and it's like, really? Did we really need the flashlight to stop working? So either the US military gives Marines, crap gear, or he forgot to check his equipment.
Yeah.
That was a dumb line. Oh, I did like this. I forgot I wrote this the very intro. You know how it's not a Universal. It was a Universal Pictures. And then the Earth turned to like red and
Yes.
yeah. I love it when movies can incorporate the logo with the movie. And my examples were Serenity and Armageddon. I love that in movies.
In the core.
Did they do it in the core?
Uh-huh.
I couldn't remember. But yeah,
your favorite Waterworld, dude.
Oh yeah, Waterworld. How did I forget Waterworld? Oh. It's been too long since I've seen Waterworld. Which, by the way, speaking of movies that aren't streaming but we have to watch, I got yelled at today by my friend who actually physically gave us money to do Juno, and we have not done it yet. So
Need to do Juno.
we're gonna have to do Juno. We're just gonna have to bite the bullet.
Not in
and rent
October
it.
though.
No. It won't be
It's
October.
an October movie.
No, we might wait until I don't know if Christmas is the right time for that kind of movie, but maybe November or January. So we'll find time. But she yelled at me. She basically said, either you do Juno soon or I want my money back. I'm like, he only gave me like $4, but it was 2 years ago.
Oh, dude.
Chad was still on the show when she requested it. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
wow.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that one's for you.
Oh,
We
it's
would've been-
totally on me. I mean, and it's on the list. I just keep moving it down and down just because I keep forgetting about it. So,
Yeah.
Well, it's also not been streaming. I think that's part of the issue.
well,
too.
it never streams, and I don't know if it ever will stream. But
Is it an independent? Who did it?
well, it was an independent film, but that doesn't matter. But it's just one of those movies for whatever reason. It doesn't stream, and she gave me some money so that we could pay to rent it, but we just means that we all have to pay a couple bucks to rent it. So anyway, but she also did offer it's streaming if you have stars on Amazon, which I don't. Otherwise, we can rent it on Amazon for $3.
Which is about how much she gave you.
That's exactly what it is.
There you go.
Yes. She did tell me too. She said, "If you want to, I can guest host on the show." And
That would be fun to have a female perspective on this show. We haven't.
well, yeah, we've never had that exactly.
No.
Which would be.
I know we've joked that the wives are going to do one of these nights as of April Fool's prank or something. But
Yeah, I actually kind of want to do a 10-minute one with Declan one time. I think that'd be fun on a movie that he watches with me, a bunch. So.
Paw Patrol.
No, like Kung Fu Panda 3 or Cars 3 or like a movie that's streaming that he's actually watched with me. I think that'd be kind
Actually, you know what? We could have Declan. I could get Lucy.
Yeah, Andrew, you want to get your boys involved?
They wouldn't care about it.
Oh, okay.
They don't get enthused by it. But they would probably also be really confused as to what I'm doing.
That's part of the fun.
Because they're always in the bed when I do this, so they've never actually seen me do this. So.
Sure. Well, Declan's
No
usually is
clue.
too, but he's still participated a handful of times by having bad dreams or just coming out to see what's happening. Anyway. The only other thing I wrote was about an hour in the movie, The Rock becomes the bad guy, and then I wrote he shoots the kid ? And then I wrote the first person scene was actually kind of fun. I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It-
Yeah. It
I mean,
was
they
a
didn't want to see that Henry.
Hardcore Henry, yeah, it's on the list. It's on our list.
and it's streaming.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's on the list. We're going to do it in. It's actually the movie we're going to do right before Christmas. If nothing changes on the list, we'll do. We're going to do that movie. Nothing says Christmas like a movie called Hardcore Henry. Maybe we'll do a Christmas movie in December, like.
Have we ever done a holiday movie?
We've done a couple of Christmas type movies. What did you just send me, Sam?
I think it could have been a grammar police.
Oh, thank you. That's fine. That's fine. I don't mind. I'm trying to think here. Let's see. Justice League. No, that doesn't count. That was last year. Gosh, that was almost a year ago we did Justice League. That's crazy.
Wow. And the whole universe has collapsed since then.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it still holds up.
Justice League?
Let's see. The Christmas before that we did The Imitation Game, U-571, Saving Private Ryan, and Gremlins. Those were the...
Oh, Gremlins.
Gremlins was actually, I think, our quote-unquote Christmas movie because we did a live commentary on Gremlins.
That's right. Yeah.
And then the year before that was The Force Awakens, Nightcrawler, and Wing Commander. Yeah. And then our very first month of Christmases, we did Dumb and Dumber, Snowpiercer, and Stardust. Snowpiercer.
Hey, Stardust.
So, yeah. There we go. Anyway, so answer your question is no. Gremlins really is the only one that even has happened during the winter. honestly. Well, except for Snowpiercer, but that's not at all a Christmas movie.
Well, it's winter time.
It's winter snow. That's about it. It's literally
and I believe I hear there's singing, so it's a very cheerful singing.
There is singing in that movie. Oh my gosh, you're right. I forgot about the.
I mean, if you ask anybody, what are some components to Christmas movies, they're going to say snow, and they're going to say singing.
Christmas carols,
What happens if the engine stops? We all freeze and die.
Yeah, so, So
that's exactly right.
So you remember a few months ago, before I got this second computer, when I was running all of the clips and the music for the show off my cell phone? Well, all of those clips are still on my phone. And so I got the kids in the car the other day, and I'm playing some my wife bought The Greatest Showman, the soundtrack. And so the kids are like obsessed with that soundtrack right now. But I have it on random, and I didn't put it in a playlist. It's just in my full library. So literally what happens is we're playing it, and the song ends, and I don't remember which one it was, but it was, I got to find it. It was one of the thing. And the one, the opening, I can't remember the freaking song called. It's called The Greatest Show. Man, that was hard. Why was that so hard?
You can do it, Sean.
I know. Jeez, I can't talk and drive at the same time. I'm trying to find the clip here. And literally the song ends, and then you hear,
"We ain't found shit."
through the loudspeakers of my car, and I was like, before he finished that word, I it's like, "Sorry, buddy." He goes, "Oh, for what?" And I said, "You weren't supposed to hear that." And he goes, "Oh, why?" I said, "No reason. No reason at all."
Make it worse.
Yeah. It just make it worse.
What's the matter with this thing? What's all that churning and bubbling? You call that a radar screen?
No, sir. We call it Mr. Coffee. Care for some?
Okay.
Yes!
Sorry. Fun in the archives, man. But since I got everything on the computer, I basically have every clip we've ever done, pretty much. There's about 20 or 30 episodes that somehow got lost in the ether somewhere. But yeah, you can just call out a movie and I got it. It's great.
Dick, you're fired!
That's right. That's from RoboCop. So anyway, we're not going to play that game. What we are going to do is instead do. I'm going to look at my script, make sure that I had nothing else. Literally, the last thing I wrote in my notes was, "What was the point of the pills?" So, so instead of a hopping man, I don't know what you would call this, and maybe I looked at my phone and I just don't remember seeing it. But remember how there was the only people in the movie for the majority of the movie, right? Once they go through the doors, right? It's just the Marines and the doctor lady until they start finding scientists, right? And so they come back with Dr. Chalmers, who I think is Dr. Chalmers. Maybe it was one of the Marines. I can't remember. And they put him on the table, and all of a sudden there's a brunette woman in there. And I thought, where did she come from? Did they find her? I don't remember finding her. She just shows up. This other woman in a lab coat, and she's like, have they found Steve? No, they haven't found Steve yet, but they will. I'm sure he's fine. Like, who are you? Where did you come from? I don't remember. Like, did I miss that? Did I look at my phone? Was I playing Clash Royale when that part happened? I just don't remember. Maybe either one of you know, or are y'all with me? You just don't remember.
She was in one of the rooms that they went in when they were doing their initial first sweep through the.
So the movie did show them finding her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I missed that somehow, because all of a sudden I'm like, wait, there's a woman in there, and she's helping with the biopsy or the doctor and stuff. So this gets my another point. My next point. That's not a phrase. My next point. about things that also didn't make sense. So Rosamund Pike, her character, Dr. Grimm, she is an archaeologist, right? She says that like a half dozen times when the rock gets in her face and threatens her pretty aggressively. And I thought it was kind of strange that the brother doesn't come to her defense.
And creepy.
The rock really gets in her face, like, what are you doing up here? And she's like, I'm just an archaeologist. We're just doing a dig. And then but towards the end of the movie, she knows how to synthesize DNA or something. You know what I'm saying? And she's doing not a biopsy. What's it called? A
biopsy.
What's it called? What's it called? When someone dies, autopsy. That's the word.
Autopsy.
She's doing an autopsy.
All doctors can do all of that stuff. I mean, it's in the training that they do.
I guess. I seemed like she knew more than what she should have known how to do. Well, whatever. And I did like how the BFG was literally floating like it was a gun in the game. You would just walk down the aisle and pick up the gun. I actually kind of like that because that's a pretty good homage to the game, where you go into a room and there it is, the BFG. All right, that's it. The only tropes I wrote were rookie character has a past he doesn't want to talk about. There's no closure to the fact that his parents died up there.
No.
Other
than that they did something outside.
Well, and there was like a rock collapse or something, and I don't know. And then the character that follows the orders to the letter. So, you ready for some clips? I got a few clips.
Otherwise, I'll leave.
Here's that's fair. Here's 15 seconds of Portman being really gross.
Where you going, Portman?
I'm going down to El Honta. I'm gonna lock myself in a motel room with a bottle of tequila and 3 she-boys.
You're sick, man.
What? 3 she-boys? Is he being literal? That's gross.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I guess you have to do what you got to do, right? Like if
they're all consenting adults, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but the fact that he says boys is what's kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if he would have literally said 3 she-males, all right, whatever. If that's what gets you off, fine. I don't care.
She-ra.
But like the fact that he said boys literally makes it make me my mind, because literally I've known this character for 18 seconds, but I already hate him. All I could think of was like he wants to be in the room with like 15-year-old boys. Like that's what my mind went to. But well, he was.
Well, I mean, he's also that creepy.
Yeah, and he says this like 8 minutes later in the movie.
Ladies, we're under a level 5 quarantine, so I am just gonna have to strip search you girls.
I don't think so.
Hold that thought.
Yeah, hold that thought.
Really?
Again, they should have slapped him. I don't care if the guy's got a big ass gun. You slap him.
Uh-huh.
So I was reading the trivia.
Back trivia.
And the trivia kind of sucks. But one of the trivia pieces says, when Samantha Grimm unlocks the first door using the electronic keypad, the key tones played are the 5 iconic notes from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So I was like, ooh, I got to go back and capture that. And I went back and captured it. And I will let you two music men who have probably seen that movie at least 2 or 3 times, who have probably heard that iconic piece of music probably a dozen times, and have probably even played it on your respective instruments. I give you the door beeps. Did you hear him?
Yeah, kind of.
All right, here's again. Here you go.
The third one doesn't line up.
Well, yeah. The first 2 are only 2 that work. The rest are just. Yeah. They're just. Yeah. You know, one is correctly lower and then the other one's above, but it's not the same notes. Yeah, that's not them. That's just 4 beeps.
Theme and variations.
Yeah, that's. either that's some audio engineer who liked the movie, who thought it would be funny, but maybe didn't want to get into kind of copyright issues by making it. But like that, there's not a copyright issue there. Like it's
or
music.
Maybe not musically inclined enough to do it correctly.
That's probably more likely. But then don't put it in the trivia. Or this is actually more likely what happens. They're just notes. They're just button beeps, right? That just happen to sound similar, and some douchebag on IMDb was like, "Hey, that sounds like," because he doesn't know any better, or she doesn't know any better. So then, with that being said, I give you, no, wait, where's my clip? Oh no, where's my clip? I always keep, there it is.
That is one big pile of shit.
There you go. That's our shit trivia of the day. Here you go. There you go. This part actually kind of made me laugh.
Oh, there's something behind me, isn't there? Oh, there's something behind me, isn't there?
There we go. And
yeah, so why did he turned into a different monster? That was the only alternative monster.
Yeah, and there's actually there's a demon in the game called the Pinky something demon, and it's half wheelchair or half mechanical, half demon, and so that's why they had that scene. And he has to fight him with a chainsaw in his first person thing. So here's 16 seconds of The Rock with a little bit of bad acting.
Would you say we go outside and get some fresh air? Are you gonna shoot me?
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
What you got left?
Half a clue. You?
I've got 1 round.
We have to be fair, okay? We all love The Rock. He's not good in this movie.
No.
He's bad. And that dialogue I captured is bad. Let's go up and get some fresh air. And then Carl Urban is actually already he's already channeling his dread. I love this
bit.
bit.
We go outside and get some fresh air. Are you gonna shoot me?
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
There's your dread.
You just put the mask on him and it's already there.
Yeah.
But it goes to show how good a director the Rundown director was.
Mm-hmm.
Just in terms of quality of acting from The Rock.
Yeah. And again, The Rundown was before this. So, he had done legitimately good acting. I mean, we all like The Rundown. Now, The Rundown's easy. It's a simple movie. I mean, he only has to be one guy.
And you can just let the other guy do any acting that he wants to.
Oh, yeah. Christopher Walken. They just let him be whatever he wanted to be.
I love it. You don't have any clips from that one, do you?
Of course. What are you talking about?
Other than
I've got such things as
Tell him to dig harder. If only it were that simple. Aim is the back.
How do you know my name?
When a man of your dimensions travels all this way to visit a place like this, it arouses the curiosity. What can I do for you?
It arouses the curiosity.
Rowan has given us this great honor.
Oh.
To serve as peacekeepers.
Why are you playing? That's weird.
I suppose now we have a conversation where you enlighten me.
Mr. Hatcher.
How many more of you are out there? Enlighten me. Where are the rest of your compadres? Enlighten me.
Mr. Hatcher.
What I don't get is why you people so hostile. I've been good to you. I built you a town. Why are we fighting?
Mr. Hatcher.
What?
The UN has given us this great
fighting.
I love it. I want to watch that movie again.
Go watch that movie again now.
Oh,
my
no.
gosh, it's been too long.
Oh my gosh. And really the only complaint we had about that movie was at the beginning of the movie when The Rock is meeting the football players, it does like a stat card on the football players.
Yeah.
And then they never do it again.
Yeah.
That would have been so cool to do that for the rest of the movie. Is he gets like the guy was with the whips get stat cards, +1 whip. And then even Christopher Walken gets a stat card as being the boss. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like, when Sherlock in the Sherlock movies, they do is it slow motion? I can't remember, but
it's like the super slow motion where he can predict the fight.
Yeah. So
I love that. By the way, I like those movies. I like the guy. Oh, speaking of Guy Ritchie, the guy who directed the Sherlock Holmes movies.
There's a new one coming, by the way.
Oh, is there? I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that excites me. I like those movies. I watched King Arthur and the Legend of the Sword. And
is that the newest one that everybody poo-pooed?
Yes. It is Sherlock Holmes 3. It's pre-production 2020. Look at that. So yeah, he did King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. I didn't know he did Man from U.N.C.L.E. That's cool. I liked Man from U.N.C.L.E. It's robbed of his birthright. Arthur comes up the hard way in the back alleys of the city, but once he pulls the sword from the stone, he is forced to acknowledge his true legacy, whether he likes it or not. I really liked it. I did.
Really?
It got a 6.8 on IMDb. Metascore is 41 on Metacritic. Critics didn't really like it because it's kind of a dumb action flick, but it's just dripping Guy Ritchie. It's just got a lot of those really fun, quick cuts. There's a scene when Arthur, who was played by Charlie, what's his name? Charlie Hunman, which we saw in, what was that? Did we see Charlie in that movie where he's the thing? We did see him in Pacific Rim, but we also saw him in, not The Liege. Remember talking? You know what I'm talking about? Was that him? Pacific Rim. Lost City of Papillion. Maybe
the Warcraft movie.
That wasn't him then. I think I don't see him on it.
That was before my time.
Yeah, it was where he has the guy has to go and retrieve the Roman thing.
The eagle?
Yeah, the eagle. Is that? I think that's Channing Tatum.
Yeah, Channing Tatum.
Yeah. I get them kind of confused. They kind of look alike. Anyway, but he was in. We saw him in the Pacific Rim, where it's cool because it's analog, and he has this back and forth banter with this other guy, and it's great. It really is great. It's that Guy Ritchie dialogue that I really liked. There's some magical elements to it. The sword is actually imbued with magical properties, so that the wielder of the sword gives the wielder strength and power. It's actually kind of a fun movie, and Jude Law is a really good bad guy. Really good bad guy. So I watched it on HBO. I actually kept it. And Sarah's like, why aren't you deleting this? I'm like, I kind of want to watch it again. So it might be one of those weird guilty pleasures of mine where everyone hated it, but I'm like, I just kind of liked it. Kind of like Waterworld. So if you get a chance to watch it, I highly recommend it. I really do. And if it ever comes streaming, I will put it on the list in a heartbeat.
By the way, speaking of directors jumping.
Yeah?
James Gunn directing Suicide Squad 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, who is?
James Gunn. Disney fired him. He was the Guardians of the Galaxy director.
Yeah.
I am all in.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, maybe it'll be a good movie.
Yeah, I know, right?
I haven't seen the first one, so I don't know. But they're getting in.
The first one.
I thought the first one was okay. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't anything memorable either.
Didn't I hear that they've already fired Jared Leto as the Joker? They're going to get a new Joker, isn't it? Joaquin Phoenix.
I think it's two different Jokers at the same time. Yeah.
Oh. I don't know.
It's really weird. DC is a mess when it comes to their
keeping their cast
or doing anything with the DC universe.
Yeah, just keeping any kind of continuity. So anyway.
Yeah. Hi, Sarah.
She can't hear you. Yeah, we watched it on Cinemax on HBO. Anyway, that's the only place where you can get.
That's why. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's still a lot of fun.
I was like, yeah, I've got something to do.
Yeah, no, we'll have to do it. Anyway, did I play other clips? I don't even know. Shoot ya. Yeah, that's it. Okay, here we go.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
I already mentioned one of the piece of trivia about the Close Encounters thing. Dwayne Johnson was offered the lead role of John Grimm, but chose the role of Sarge because he thought it was more interesting. Which it kind of is, I guess. Simon Pegg.
It fits better.
Yeah, it does. It does. Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright were asked to polish the dialogue, but turned it down. Boy, that would have been way better, I think. Had they had their hands all over this. That would have been really cool. Okay, here we go.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
We're doing movies, top 3 movies, and we're doing The Rock. Because
we've done this before.
Because we're pretty sure we haven't, but Sam says we have, but my list doesn't say that we have, so we're gonna do it. Yeah. And because we've only done. Oh, I just lost my headphones. We've only done Hercules.
What a jerk! Look at him. He's horrible, man. Oh, and then What a Wonderful Human Being Sean is.
I'm sure you guys were talking all kinds of crap because I couldn't hear.
That doesn't sound like anything we would do.
No, not at all. Oh, exactly. Except
not at all.
Anyway, so we're gonna do the Rock movies.
You don't need to rooster tail any of that.
Oh, do I got to go back and listen? Now I'm gonna have to go back and listen. Man. Making me do more work.
Now, is he going to be mad when he has to rooster tail, or when he realizes there's no need to rooster tail?
Which one's going to make him more upset?
No, making me have to rooster tails always makes me more upset because that means I have to actually edit audio. If I just have to listen for 13 seconds while I put my headphones back on, fine. But if I have to edit audio, I don't. I know, Cry Me a River, I have to edit audio. Didn't I go to school for that? Yes, I did. Andrew, your Rock movies, go.
All right, number 3, I've got Central Intelligence.
I need to see that. It looks funny. The Kevin Hart.
And the two of them have such an on-screen chemistry. It's hilarious.
Well, they were really good in Jumanji together.
Yeah. And speaking of Jumanji, that's my number 2.
Okay.
Great film there. And I think much better than the first Jumanji, even though it's kind of an homage to the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it better. And then number 1, I'm going to go with Race to Witch Mountain.
I still haven't seen that one. Is that good?
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a cute little thing.
One of the, well, I won't say it's the first one, but it was one of the earlier ones that I saw him in as an actor. And I think that's when I kind of gained a little respect for him as an actor and not just as a wrestler.
Oh, okay.
I
never got to watch him wrestle, so.
What?
I was never a wrestling fan.
I mean, he did a lot of movies before that one, but that's the first one I kind of...
There's a spider in the bathroom? There's a beetle in the bathroom?
I don't know that movie.
It is October.
Okay.
So while he's not paying attention, we could talk about him again.
I can hear you still.
Oh.
Do I need to stop the show and go save you from the bug? Okay. All right. I'm going to pause the show real quick. Hold on. Okay, and we're back. I have saved my wife from the evil beetle.
What was the beetle?
Yeah, it was just a little beetle. Little crawly
poor
thingy.
thing.
Sam.
All right. My list. We're doing Rock movies, right?
Yeah.
So I've got Dante's Peak at number 3.
I was wondering if you were going to go
27 Hours at number 2 and Galaxy Quest at number 1.
I wonder if he was going to go a different way with The Rock when as soon as you said, we're doing Rock movies, I'm like, he's going to say House of Rock, and then he's going to say School of Rock.
No, for real, I had to.
No, that was a good one. Galaxy Quest. I'm all over that. I like it.
Yeah, Rock Monster.
The Rock Monster, yeah.
Yep. Central Intelligence, I got number 3. I've got You're Welcome, Moana, number 2. And Rundown at number 1.
Open the eyes like in episode 22.
doesn't have any eyes, Tommy.
Don't put him mouth to the throat. It's vulnerable spots.
The Rock, it doesn't have any vulnerable spots.
Oh.
Oh,
one of the best
man.
Star Trek movies ever made. Okay.
Yep.
Mine. So, what was your number one, Sam? I was looking for the clip.
Rundown.
The rundown?
Yeah.
Okay. My honorable mention is The Rock in the episode of Star Trek Voyager.
Okay, I'll give it to you an honorable.
Yeah, it's an honorable mention. Again, it's an episode, it's a TV show, but the fact that The Rock has a Star Trek connection, I just find super cool.
When was this?
Star Trek, it was an episode of Voyager. It was like in the early 90s.
Gosh, so this was wrestling days or pre-wrestling?
Oh, very much wrestling days.
Was it trying to get the wrestling crowd to watch Star Trek?
No, I think. Oh, I just hit the microphone. No, I think it was. I think I broke my keyboard.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, but seriously, my keyboard's not working. That's a shame. It's brand new too. No, I think it was just they literally. It's an episode where they go to a planet where they have like one of the characters gets stuck in a ring and he has to fight, and The Rock is the person that he has to fight. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's The Rock, so like, but it's Star Trek, right? So basically, how do you make an alien? You just put some makeup around their nose and eyes, and they're an alien. And so they did that, and he did he has no speaking lines, and he does the big eyebrow, like the heat that The Rock does, the big eyebrow, and he beats up the main character for a while, and then eventually the character is able to escape somehow. I can't remember how, but yeah, The Rock's in a Star Trek episode, which is cool. Nice. Obviously, Carl Urban is probably our best Star Trek connection, but
what is he in?
All of the new reboots. Oh, you're being dumb. I was like, we've done one of those movies. I'm really upset. My keyboard. I dropped my headset on my keyboard, and now I can't. It's not working.
I just turned it off. Turn it back on.
I've tried that like 5 times.
Reset it. Call tech support, and they'll make you do the same
call
thing.
Tech support. Call.
Make sure the power cords are plugged in.
I don't think it's wireless.
Dump some coffee on it. That usually works.
That sucks. Anyway, that actually really does suck because I can't post the show tonight without the keyboard. Anyway, to figure something out. My number 3 was Get Smart.
Get Smart.
Yeah. I just like that movie. It's not a rock movie, but he's in it, and I like the movie. Number 2 is Jumanji. Number 1 is The Rundown. There you go.
Nice.
Soundtrack grade. I forgot that this is still a thing that is in my script. I never remember to say, but I'd give it an N for 9 Inch Nails. There was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. I liked it though, but I liked
first-person shooters.
Yeah, but I liked all that stuff, and I was rocking out. I had no problem with that. Okay, here we go.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
Out of 10, this is where we give our scores for 1 to 10, and we rank those scores among the other movies that we've seen. Andrew, your scores, sir?
With some bad CGI, with some bad acting, and just an overall bad movie. This one's going to land at a 3.67 for me.
Okay, give me a second. I have to use my other computer because, again, my keyboard doesn't work. Okay, what did you say? A 3.67?
3.67.
Okay. Sam.
All right, so we're second week into our October Horror Fest here, and this movie failed to even once give me a jump scare. So I'm going to have to say a 4.2 out of 10.
Okay. We threw this on the list for the horror films because it is a horror film, and I knew it was dumb and kind of campy and whatever, and I basically wanted a break after that last movie. Well, we decided to do Doom before we knew what Mother was, but we both think that The Witch is actually going to be fairly substantial and heady and actually legit scary. from what we read from that article. So I wanted something kind of dumb here to kind of break it up a little bit. And this was that. It was dumb. You definitely, again, we always say you have to park your brain at the door. Literally, our responsibilities for the podcast is to not do that. That's why I make fun of
and that's what we're hoping our listeners do as well.
Yeah, you're going to have to. If you want to watch the movie, watch the movie. I would never discourage someone. Well, actually, I would discourage somebody from watching movies. We actually have done that before.
Yeah.
This is not that. This movie is fine. If you want to watch it, watch it. I have no problem with you watching it. Do I ever want to watch it again? No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. So, if only to watch it again as part of my marathon for Judge Dredd.
It's the prequel. It has to be.
It's the prequel to Dredd. Now I'm going to go watch Dredd, and I'm like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Now we just need to have a middle movie in the middle to get how they got from point A to point B.
Yeah.
It'll confuse people because... Did you guys know this, by the way, that Temple of Doom is a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark? Did you know that?
I think I knew that in the back of my brain, but I don't care.
Andrew, did you know that? Because I just found out recently, and I feel really dumb.
I never knew that.
I feel really dumb for that. It's a prequel. That's why he's not with Marion. The only way you can even tell it's a prequel is at the beginning of the movie. It's May of 1938. It's a year before the other movie.
Well, unless you really paid attention in the first one, are you going to remember what year the first one was in?
Right, but that's just the way when I heard it was in another podcast I listened to. That's what they said. It's such a subtle thing, but it kind of explains why Marion's not around and but she's not around in the third one either. But
I just thought maybe he was just kind of a player.
Right. Well, but then the Steven Spielberg's wife's not in the first one then. So where did she go? So I don't know. Anyway,
yeah.
I just found this out recently, and I feel kind of bad, dumb. I feel like I should know that as a nerd. Anyway, my point is that I'm giving this movie a 3.5.
All right.
No, I'm going to give it a 3.55. I got to make the score. There we go.
Random.
Yeah, I got to give more numbers to it. It was too even. So anyway, 3.806 repeating is pretty good. Yeah, that's fine. So that movie is parked right above Buckaroo Banzai. Actually, it's right below. No, yeah,
Okay,
it's above. No, it's above Buckaroo Banzai. Buckaroo Banzai got a 3.6 repeating. This is a 3.86 repeating. So.
Oh wow.
Just above Buckaroo. There you go. That's it.
I'd rather watch.
You said you'd rather watch Buckaroo Banzai again?
Yeah. Can I change my vote?
No. I don't know if I would rather watch Buckaroo than this. Seriously. I don't know if I would or not. I think I might rather watch this again than Buckaroo Banzai.
Okay.
I don't know. Next week we're doing The Witch next week.
Yeah, The Witch. I'm looking forward to this. But I worry about looking forward to this.
Which it's a Netflix movie. I think it's on Netflix. I don't know who produced it. But we saw Sam, you and I, we saw this article, or you found an article that basically said that this is the best
scariest one on Netflix.
It's the best
one on Netflix.
Yeah, it's 2015. The original title is The Witch, a New England Folk Tale. A family in the 1630s New England is torn apart by the forces of witchcraft, black magic, and possession. And it has people I've never heard of. So
they all speak Latin.
Oh. I mean, why would they speak Latin? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, the lead actress shares my birthday.
Did you run into her?
I didn't say I met her. I said she shares my birthday. Oh, and she's in Split. That Shyamalan thing.
Shyamalan.
Yep. But nothing else I've seen. So anyway, that's fine. The Witch, The Witch. Yeah. So that's next week. Looking forward to it. I think. I don't know. Maybe not. I might be too scared. But I'll also be recording. I'll be broadcasting from Boca Raton, Florida next week. So on another trip. So that's fine.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, that's the show. Thanks for hanging out. It was a lot of fun.
Good night, folks.
I got to get to my script here because again, I have to. Like I said, next week that's what we're doing. The Witch. Looking forward to that. Anchor app. I haven't done anything on Anchor in weeks, and I feel bad. So maybe I'll give you another review of the Legend of the Sword or something. I don't know. I'm bad about that. I just am. Leave us a review on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube. That really helps others find the show. So please do that. Listen, if you're still listening to the show, please do that. Facebook.com/Cheapseat Reviews. And of course on Twitter @CheapseatCast. I had a fun little conversation with some people today or yesterday about whether or not this movie was any good, Doom, and some interesting opinions on the Twitter. So yeah, if you listen to us and you follow us on Twitter, please feel free to interact with us because I will respond and you can laugh at me or whatever because I'm really bad at Twitter still. I'm too old, I think, for Twitter. Anyway. And send us your emails to cheapseatreviews@gmail.com. If you are so inclined to do, I mean, people do still send emails, right? Like that is still a medium at which people do things, do work and stuff. So anyway, that's it. That's our show. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week. Again, we are doing 2015's Witch. It's on the Netflix. So on behalf of Andrew, Sam, this is Shawn saying thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.